All right, ladies, I just hit the live button. It is saying that we are live
All right, all right.
and we are getting ready to do this. I am super excited, but we just got to take care of a little business before we get started. Let's give them some of this, y'all.
You thought I was playing? Huh.
All right, all right, all right. It is Saturday morning, and I get to spend just a few minutes with two of my favorite women in leadership, two of my favorite deeper women, Dr. Marcia Whitaker and Jamia Ponder. Oh my gosh. When I realized that I would be hosting two of Deeper Women Teach authors this morning, I'm telling you, I got so excited. Y'all know how I do. I get all worked up and then I have to calm myself down. Calm down, calm down. Okay, Barbara. Tell the people who you are before we get started. Let me introduce myself before I turn the floor over to my women or my sisters in leadership, Dr. Marcia and Jamia. I am Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life leadership coach trainer. I am the founder and CEO of the Deeper Leader Institute for Personal and Professional Development, where true leadership starts with self-leadership. At the Deeper Leader Institute, we coach, train, and certify leaders who are looking to become more effective leaders in their current role or looking to launch their own life and leadership coaching business. I am also the founder of Deeper Women Lead Global and creator of Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. And I'm super excited this morning to invite you guys out on March 19th. Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. Listen, we've been cooped up. The last conference we had to do virtually, even though it was amazing. It's not going to be, it's going to be amazing in a different kind of way because we also have a virtual stage for this conference as well. So go to deeperwomenleadglobal.org and register. Take advantage of these last couple of days that we have for the early bird registration. So at this time, welcome to the stage. I need a drum roll. I need some sound effects. Welcome to the stage, to the Deeper Women Lead stage, Dr. Marcia Whitaker and Miss Jamia Ponder. Dr. Whitaker is everything. We were just backstage, and I'm just seeing her like blow up before my eyes on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know her, I know her, I know her. Let me just read some of her accolades. Dr. Whitaker, I was about to say Dr. Ponder. Dr. Whitaker just finished the Leadership Experience Tour. She was named top 15 entrepreneurs to watch by USA Today. She is a Deeper Women Teach author. She's also the author of Marked from Birth. And we'll talk a little bit about the book, but she is everything. And you can see her logo in the background. She's going to tell you a bit about her business when I turn it over to her. So right now we're going to turn it over to Dr. Marcia Whitaker.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Barbara. I am so happy to be here this morning on your platform. I love you. We go way back, and it's just good just to show up. I want to let you know that I wore my red, even though I really wanted to wear pink. But I said, I'm gonna come alongside and do what I need to do.
I appreciate you aligning yourself with the vision.
That's right. I do what I do. Right. but thank you for the session. And I am Dr. Marcea Whitaker, and I am the founder of In Full Bloom Health and Life Coaching, and also the CEO of Women Ready to Move Academy. I am a physician. I'm also a life coach. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. And I am here to help women. I help professional women break out of their personal prison so they can do three things. So they can discover who they are. They can decide what they want. And that they can then deliver on their destiny.
I love it. I love it. And I keep wanting, am I speaking something when I keep saying
I was
Dr.?
about to ask you, is it prophetic or what are we
Yes.
doing?
Yes. So I want to welcome Jamia Ponder to the stage. Jamia Ponder is the creator of the Mrs. Beside brand. She has a podcast, and I'll let her tell all about that. She's also a Deeper Leader Institute certified light and white coach. So she's a graduate, one of our first graduates. I'm going to turn the platform over to her and let her tell you who she is.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barbara. I am ecstatic to be here this morning. I'm grateful to be here with one of my co-authors, Dr. Whitaker. She is phenomenal, and I'm just grateful to be surrounded by such deeper women, that are going to continue to encourage and push me and challenge me to go to deeper levels. Like Dr. Barbara said, I am one of the first graduates of the Deeper Leader Institute, and she certified me as a life coach. And before that, she helped me to knock the dust off my boots and kind of get it together. So I walked that journey, and Dr. Barbara saw me kind of grow and blossom. And again, like she said, I am the creator of the Mrs. Beside, which is really a safe space and a movement dedicated to women and wives who are standing beside their spouses. Everybody talks about the spouse that, quote unquote, made it, right? But behind them, beside them, in front of them was somebody helping to push them, somebody that was launching them. So I heard somebody say the other day that while he went to school, his wife said that she was getting her PhD at the same time that he was, which was really helping him to pursue his dream. And so it is a huge sacrifice that we bear and take on for someone else, right? But also making sure that we take that time to pour back into ourselves. So like Dr. Barbara said, I am an author. And also have this podcast that I really pour my heart out in. I've kind of walked my journey and let people hear me cry and laugh and all the things inside of the podcast. So you can stream that on any of your platforms. So I'm, again, just grateful to be here. I am going to always be your biggest fan and encourager. And really, you can find a friend in me. I'm an open book. And often talk about in all kinds of ways, all of the things that I go through on a day-to-day basis. So I'm grateful to be here to share my story and to be encouraged by the stories of others.
And this is what it's all about. It's really about women in leadership sharing their stories, not just stories, but you kind of heard Dr. Marcia touch on it, but give you some strategies for life, love, and leadership, because really that's what it's all about. It's about us coming together to share our stories, to help other women, to empower other women. I want to give you a little bit of history. Hold on one second. I need a cord right there to plug right here. It's my production crew. The charger. Excuse me one second. Got it. In all of our 30 minutes of getting ready, I did not plug in my computer, so that it was going down, it was dying. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. If you hadn't had these kind of problems during COVID, then you're probably not being honest. All right, here we go. Just to give you a bit of background about Deeper Women Lead and how we all started and how we all came to be. Deeper Women Lead started 5 years ago, y'all. This is actually the 5th year in 2018, and it started with this little book. It's Always Deeper. I wrote my first book in 2018, published my first book, but I somehow didn't want to just write the book. I wanted it to have purpose. So I wrote the book and launched it at the first Deeper Women event, which was Deeper Women Speaking. At that time, I brought along 3 of my friends in leadership. We went to lunch. We actually went to lunch to talk about something else, and we came out of there with them coming on the platform to share their stories of life, love, and leadership. Because you ladies know that in this world of women in leadership, you don't really have a circle of people that you can trust and people that will are able to handle your healing. in helping you through that process. So they came on board, we spoke, we had 4 women, and that was the beginning of the Deeper Women Lead platform. With that, or since then, this year on March 19th, we will host 22 speakers. Yay! 22 speakers, from 4 speakers that just 5 years ago, to a book, the Deeper Women Teach book. We had Deeper Women Lead Virtual, and now on March 19th, Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. If you have not connected with this brand, connected with this conference, go to deeperwomenleadglobal.org and register for the conference so we can all be there together, and you can meet Jamia Ponder and Dr. Marcia Whitaker at the conference. And now we're going to jump in so you can learn more about these ladies. I'm just going to ask a few questions, and we'll go around the horn and answer the questions. And I'll start with Dr. Marcia, and Jamia, you can listen in because the question is going to be the same for you. Dr. Marcia, we talked in your intro about some of the things that you've done. It's clear that you've been on many stages. You're no stranger to speaking, and you're no stranger to the Deeper Women Lead platform. What attracted you to Deeper Women Lead Atlanta?
Awesome. Yes. So I have been walking beside Dr. Barbara.
Yes.
And when I saw her event, I'm like, because of the connection that we had, I was like, I have to do it. Right. So that was just the baseline. But then I also believe in your mission, and I see your heart for women. And we talk about leadership. And when we think about leadership, we think about, where we are in our career, who is under us, where we are in our family, dealing with our children. There's also, Jamia mentioned, the Mrs. Piece behind the mate, right? But one of the biggest pieces that we forget is self-leadership. And so when our mind isn't right, the rest of our pieces can't function. And so I am committed to reaching women who are ready to move. And that's actually the name of my academy. It's women ready to move, right? It isn't women who haven't decided yet, but when you have women who are coming, seeking assistance, seeking help, seeking vision, seeking the roadmap, I have to show up. And thank you for the invite. Love you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. Marcia. I was just talking to somebody the other day. When you go through your healing process and you wake up, you just want everybody to wake up, and you want to go around waking everybody up, but you cannot wake people up unless they're ready. If they're in the dead of sleep, if it's the middle of the night for them, you might have to prod them, you might have to poke them and all of that. So sometimes sleeping people get on your nerves.
But that is right. They're just not ready, right? It's kind of like putting a turkey in the oven for Thanksgiving. You can't take the turkey out before it's ready because you're not going to be able to eat it, right? So sometimes everyone's on their journey, and your beginning is not going to look like someone else's middle or their end.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then we have to embrace people where they are, and release people where they are, because sometimes we want to change them because we've gone through this transformation and we want it so desperately for other people, but you have to want it for yourself. All right, Jamia, same question for you. You've been on stages, you've been doing your podcast. Did you tell people about your podcast?
Briefly, I did.
Okay, so you've done your own interviews of speakers. Why Deeper Women Lead Atlanta?
Honestly, when you asked about the draw or what attracted me, I'll have to say my first encounter was you. And so you are really what drew me to the brand, what drew me to the messaging, and seeing you live that out loud. And not only that, but your transparency, right? Because I feel like there is healing in transparency, not only for you, but for somebody else to be able to recognize where they are. I feel like the transparency piece is what plants that initial seed for them to start to wake up, right? Like, dang, that sounds a lot like me. You know what I mean? And so then they get the awakening, and then they go to Dr. Whitaker, or they come to you and they're like, how can I be deeper? And so I really consider myself a seed planter in the aspect of, hey, you're not forgotten. yes, it's hard. I'm here. I'm, whatever the case may be, here I am. And that sounds like me. It sounded like me. I heard myself in you. Not 100%, right? Our stories don't align verbatim, but in the aspect of I was struggling, and here are the actionable items that I took. Here are the ways that you can apply those same action items in your life. So that's really what drew me to Deeper Women Lead, Deeper Women Teach, that wanted me to, it gave me the desire to want to know, how can I be better? Because clearly I am not hitting the mark here. And so I got some unearthing to do.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. You talked about transparency, and in the green room, Dr. Whitaker and I talked about, I was explaining how there was a time in my life when I kind of lived my purpose undercover. At the beginning of my healing, wasn't quite ready just to be all out there. Even with starting this, I was afraid of what people would say. And then I even had somebody to call me one time and say, Dr. Sweeney, I see what you're doing out there, but make sure whatever you're doing, keep it close to your vest. And that kind of reinforced the living my purpose undercover. And I was thinking, I got off the phone really kind of upset, like, keep it under my vest. And the vision that I had in my head, I was thinking, how do you keep a national company close to your vest? Like, how do you keep that quiet? And I knew in that moment that I was going to have to get to something else and do something different. So for women that you talk to, women who are living their purpose, but just kind of under the radar, how do you help women live their purpose out loud?
I mean, really, you can't live your purpose out loud unless you're 100% honest. I feel like sometimes people project their own fears on you, and you have to relinquish yourself of that. You have to go forward with what God gave you. One of my favorite sayings is, you don't just go through things, and you've said it a million times, you don't just go through things for you. It's for somebody else. And so take the lesson and pass it along so that somebody else who's getting ready to approach that mountain doesn't have to go through that. But there's no way that you can live your purpose close to your vest, because that means you're still being selfish. You're not living your purpose. You're not helping anybody else. So don't let people project their fears onto you.
That's good stuff. What about you, Dr. Marcea? How do you help women just come out of your shell and let's just do this thing? And you said during in the green room, you said what did you say?
All gas, no break.
And no breaks. How do you help people live that all gas and no break?
So I'm a life coach. So I'm also an internist physician, and so we're gonna start uncovering what's underneath of that, right? Why are you struggling? And that's what I hope women do. And usually it is fear, right? It's either fear of success, fear of failure, fear of just not knowing how, fear of what other people are going to say, fear of how you're going to make ends meet, fear, we can go on and on and on and on. And a lot of times we jump over that. We hide it. We sweep it under the rug, and it manifests as something else. And so once you rip the Band-Aid off, pull the covers back, you're like, you know what? Oh, I'm afraid of what sister such and such is going to say. Oh, I'm afraid of failing because you know what, that thing I did last year, that I didn't make it. And so I don't want people, I want to arrive without people seeing me driving.
Yes.
Wow. It doesn't work that way. And it's kind of like, because I'm a physician, I'm going to use a medical example. It's kind of like that pimple, right? Or that abscess that has pus in it, and it has to come to a head. And then you have to pop it in order to move to the next level. A lot of us, we want to maybe cover it up with makeup and not show people that there's a pimple, but that thing's about to blow, and you have to allow it to come to a head so that you can now be pushed into that next season.
That's good stuff. That's good. One of the things that I did, we kind of live these kind of a double life within ourselves. We can present ourselves one way and be something different on the inside. I've always been a person that poured into other people, but I wasn't necessarily pouring from a full cup. I was transparent, but I wasn't honest. I'd let them see my scars, but I didn't tell them how they got there. How do you get to a level of honesty with yourself? Because it is this work is difficult and it's continual. How do you get under it? How do you say to yourself, you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm selfish. Like at the bottom of all of this, I'm selfish. And how can I stop being that? Dr. Marcea, you want to take that one?
Sure. It doesn't happen. I don't know if you can orchestrate it. What happens is kind of like when you before someone goes to the hospital, right? They may have been feeling that little chest tightness a little bit, you know. Oh yeah, that didn't feel quite right. Oh yeah, I'm a little dizzy, you know. Oh, you know, I am sweating a little bit. But it isn't until they have fallen out, that they have passed out, that now people are looking at them like, what's going on? That now you call the ambulance. And so there's usually an ambulance experience in our lives. There's that drama, there's that trauma, there's that situation, there's that relationship, there's that whatever that thing that causes you to say, hey, I know I'm afraid to go forward, but I cannot go back. And that is what pushes us. Again, we're talking about we're getting pushed. We don't want to go, right? We don't want to jump off the 8-foot platform diving into the pool. We don't want to, but sometimes we have to. We need to. And so the one thing happens, and now you have to go.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Jamia?
Yeah, and I think a lot of times it's shame that really holds us back, right? Because I think for so long we play the tape that helps us sleep at night, right? We play back the record that makes us feel good. You know, those things happen to me. You know, they did that to me. We don't ever want to stop and say, okay, yes, that happened, but how am I contributing to me staying in this place? And really telling yourself the truth. Okay, here are the facts. This happened, right? You know, I'm a single mom, or my husband works all the time. Whatever the truth is,
yes,
tell it.
yes.
Argue worst case scenario, but then ask yourself, what would I tell somebody else going through this? When I say, girl, just lay in your bed, cover up with the covers, you can go ahead and be depressed. You wouldn't tell her that.
Right.
No, so tell yourself that. Let the shame go and really come to grips with whatever the truth is. And then how are you prepared to spring forward from this truth? And I think sometimes people get halted by the pain, right? Because when we start to admit what really happened, there's some pain that exists with that shame. And we abort the mission, right? That's too painful. I can't go there. But pain equals progress. It means that we're starting to unearth some of that dirty stuff that's in there. Yes. So don't forfeit it. Don't forfeit the pain, because there's progress. It's like Dr. Marcia is a physician. My husband's a doctor. So we always talk about doctor stuff around here. Right. We're talking about physical therapy, right? If you have a procedure, you're in pain. When that procedure happens, the only way to get better is to get moving. And so if you stay stagnant, that thing is never going to heal. If you stay in that place, you're not going to regain movement of that leg just laying up in the bed wishing that it'll happen. You got to get some physical therapy going.
That's good. When 5 years ago, when I started this work started with the prerequisite of the work that I had to do with myself. When I was in the middle of a divorce and was facing an involuntary shift in my career, I felt like, and you ladies know, for perfectionist women, or women who are perfectionists, or your career is your everything, when that thing shifts or your marriage shifts, I felt like my life was falling apart, and I knew something is off. Like, yes, you were married, yes, you had this career, but somewhere in the middle is the real Barbara. And I had come to the end of myself. I'd taken myself as far as my gifts, talents, and skills could take me. And it was a real pivotal moment where I felt like all of my plans were falling apart, but it was really God repositioning me. That was a real, that was a moment for me. That was a turning point in my life for me. What were some pivotal moments in your lives that caused you to make the shift, to say that I'm getting ready to go on this deeper journey? I don't know what's ahead of me. I can remember times when I was sitting in my closet crying, and I would say, God, this sucks. This hurts, but I want to feel every bit of it because I don't want it to wake up in me 5 years from now. What was that moment for you?
Well, I chuckle because I know, and it's always something small, right? Like the last drop of water in that bucket. But I was on a call, and my people were being recognized, right, for their things, and I knew that I had contributed in some manner to what was being discussed, and my name was not called. And after that call, I cried, like boo-hoo cried. And it wasn't a big deal, but I realized in that moment that I was tired of being overlooked. I was tired of my name not being called. I was tired of not being recognized. I was tired of not being appreciated. And I had to reach back to find where the source of that was, right? So that was my moment. Like it was small, but it was so much bigger than that. So that was definitely my moment.
So yes, I've had so many. I don't even know which one to say, but there have been multiple times in my life recently. The last I've done, I was living the same year over and over and over again, and it was time to do things differently. And there was that moment where I gave myself permission to look at my marriage differently. And there was about 10 years where I knew this was not where I needed to be, but I was afraid. I was scared. I didn't know what that would look like. And the moment where I said, you know what, I need to leave. You're on mute, Dr. Barbara.
I'm sorry. That's good stuff, Dr. Marcia. I was married for 20 years. And initially, when I started my healing process, I would say things like, I wasted 20 years in that marriage. And then I had to shift that and say, no, you invested 20 years because there were some things that needed to be developed in me. My character had to be developed and I had to be fortified through that process. What are some things that have fortified you? And we keep getting fortified because we keep moving to different layers. So things keep popping up that we need to take care of. It's almost like the last ditch effort at healing, almost like this is the last little bit before you go to the next level. What have been some of those things that you've had to handle that keep popping up, like any insecurities that keep popping up, things that you found in your marriage, but they're still following you now?
Wow, that's a deep question. So I'm going to take it back to my birthmark. And it was something that I struggled with in adolescence and high school and college. And what it did, it made me play small. I didn't like it. People were staring at it. It was something I thought was ugly. I didn't look people in the eye. I didn't raise my hand. I didn't do all the things that I would have. It was kind of like it was a crutch. It was like, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. And that thing also led me to a place where I let other people have control.
Yes.
Right. I didn't stand up for myself. And then that led me to that marriage because I went with someone who liked me instead of someone that I quote unquote liked.
That's good.
And it put me into that realm of I couldn't stand up for myself. And so every day I'm fighting for me, standing up for myself, unmuting my voice, telling my story, being authentic within myself.
Yes, good stuff. And understanding that we're just good enough. You showed up good enough. You showed up good enough. And if we can grasp that thing, and I always ask, and Dr. Marcia, you talked about you asking your clients, where did that come from? What's at the underbelly of that? You did not have those feelings when you were 3 years old. At 3, you knew that if you cried just a little bit, the whole world would start moving on your behalf. But somewhere we got these messages and we allowed them to seep into our subconscious mind. Our brain processes about 11 million bits of information per second. Our minds only can handle about 30 to 40 bits. So where do you think all of those bits go to? Down in your subconscious. So when we get these negative uh, uh, words that people speak over us, to us, and through us, that stuff starts to get in you, and you start showing up smaller. What about you, Jamil? You want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I will say I'll just take it back to the whole feeling unappreciated and overlooked,
Yes.
right? Because it can pop up continuously when you got somebody that Desmond's at work right now. At work right now. These kids about to be here all day, and we're on a long weekend, Jesus. So, but I had to start changing my language, right?
Yes.
I get to enjoy my children for the next few days. It starts to change your perspective when you change your language and you change your perspective. It changes the way that you approach things. I want to fix dinner today instead of I have to fix dinner. It gives a different feeling to that thing. And so I had to take it back to me. Really, it's my choice. Okay, they're fine if I make grilled chicken breasts and steamed broccoli, and they're also okay eating a bowl of cereal. It's my choice. And so if I choose to do those things, or I feel like, I have the privilege to do those things, it starts to change the way that I approach it, the way that I feel about it. So starting to put, my facts over my feelings and changing my language to match the feeling that I want to have surrounding a particular thing.
That's good. That's good. Your language is so important, and what you're saying to yourself and out there are so important. I started practicing something similar when I heard somebody say, life is too short. And I started saying, well, no, life is too valuable. Life is too valuable. And it's not that my life is so busy. No, I have a full life, and I want to live a full life. If you weren't busy doing something, that means you're doing nothing, really. So that's really powerful. I get to enjoy my kids. I get to cook for my kids. Listen, if you have not signed up for Deeper Women Lead Atlanta, please go over to deeperwomenleadglobal.org and take advantage of the early bird registration. We will be there on March 19th, and you'll get to meet these lovely Deeper women, Dr. Marcia Whitaker and Jamia Ponder. It has certainly been a pleasure being here with you today. I want to give Dr. Marcia and Jamia the opportunity to talk about the books that you've authored and let the people know where they can go and find your books and learn more about you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Barbara. It's been so good with you, Jamia. I wrote the book. It's called Marked from Birth, a transformational journey from flawed to fabulous. And it starts with the story of my birthmark. And the transformation comes when we decide that is not a flaw, but it's really our superpower. And now we can decide to be fabulous. And so you can jump over to the website. It's markedfrombirth.com. You can get a discount on the book. You can also join one of my boot camps. And you can also stay connected to me. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And the sun is not playing games with me this morning by moving all over the room. What are you doing, son? Jamia, tell the people where they can find you and tell them about your book.
Yes. So I am a co-author on the Deeper Women Lead Lessons on Life, Love, and Leadership. And they can be purchased they're on Amazon now. I also have a link on my website, which is themrsbeside.com. You can learn about me there. I'm available for speaking engagements, etc. I will also be at this amazing conference. So make sure you get your early bird registration in and get your seat saved and secured. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I have recently dabbled into TikTok. Don't judge, but you can find a couple bits over there, but I am accessible and here for you. So thank you again for having me, Dr. Marcia. It's a pleasure to see you as always. So I'm grateful.
Yes, yes. I am so looking forward to seeing both of you ladies on March 19th at Deeper Women Lead Atlanta. Jamia Ponder is one of our virtual speakers, so she's going to be bringing it from the virtual stage along with some other phenomenal Deeper Women. And Dr. Marcia is going to be gracing the main stage as one of our keynote speakers. So all of these gems that you got today, all of these medical analogies that you got today, you will get them live. She is certainly, both of them are certainly Deeper Women, and I'm so proud and honored to be connected and associated with the two of you. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. One more time, tell the audience, somebody tell the audience where to go. What do they need to do after we get off this call? What do they need
to do?
Yes, register, be in the room. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Dr. Barbara is killing it in the leadership realm. She has now gone global.
Yes.
And we're going to support her in every way that we can. Thank you. See you then.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, we're going to say bye-bye to all of our Deeper Women. See you on March 19th.